I've saved the best to last. Good morning from my second and final day here in Luxembourg. I had such a brilliant day yesterday. I'm hoping to repeat that today by taking a wander through the city and seeing what I can discover, and hopefully walk down to some more of these city fortifications. Behind me is the Adolphe Bridge, which opened on the 24th of July 1903. What a beautiful looking bridge it is. And in the background you can see the tower of the Keys, which is a private bank. It was established here in Luxembourg back in 1856. But just up the way from here is the Monument of Remembrance. So let's go and take a look up there, and then head into the city and see what we can discover. And this is the Monument of Remembrance. It's actually the war memorial here in Luxembourg City, and it's known by its nickname of the Gelle Fra, which is Luxembourgish for Golden Lady. Luxembourgish is the language here in Luxembourg, but I'm also hearing a lot of French, a lot of German being spoken as well. Most of the cafes I've been in spoken French, because that seems to be the language that the barman was speaking to the previous customer. But it's quite a magnificent looking monument, 21 meters tall, and on the top is the statue of Nike, the goddess of victory. And its sculptor was a man called Klaus Cito, or Nicholas Joseph Cito, to give him his full name. And it pays the writing around the side pays homage to the volunteers and all the people of Luxembourg who never made it back from war. As war memorials go, I think this is one of the best I've seen. There are some fabulous war memorials around England and in France and Germany, but this one really is absolutely superb. But let's walk now into the little further into the city centre and see what we can find. Spent about half an hour just walking around the inside of the cathedral. It really is absolutely beautiful. And the east window, probably the best east window of any cathedral that I've visited on my travels. The origins of the church go back to about the 7th century, and between 1613 and 1621 it was a Jesuit church. And the cathedral was reconstructed around 1870 and dedicated to Our Lady, or Notre Dame, as it's called here, the Cathedral Notre Dame. Cathedral was expanded and enlarged from 1935 to 1938. And just walking around, it's absolutely beautiful inside. And the windows of the north and the south sides are absolutely beautiful. I wandered down into the crypt, saw the royal tomb, the tomb of the Dukes of Luxembourg, and their tombs are, well, private vault is guarded by 2 lions. Really beautiful. But what was interesting down there was the grave, or the tomb, of John of Bohemia. Now, John of Bohemia was Count of Luxembourg from the year 1333 and King of Bohemia from 1310 and the titular King of Poland. And the last 10 years of his life, he was blind. He was known as John the Blind. And he's a man much revered in Luxembourg. He died on the 26th of August 1346 at the Battle of Crecy, and that's located in northern France. And it was a battle between the French army commanded by King Philip VI and the English army led by King Edward III. And it's their armies that actually won the day. And John, he led his men into battle. He was blind, but he couldn't see where he was going, but he could hear where the fighting was, and he led his men into the thick of the battle. His men were inspired by his courage and his leadership in leading them to victory. John must have known that because of his condition, this was a one-way charge. And he was slain, but his army triumphed. And he's probably the most bravest person I've come across on my travels. And it's just amazing just what people can do when they're visually impaired. It really is absolutely incredible. The bravery of John of Bohemia. But I've walked into this little square here, and there's a beautiful statue of Duchess Charlotte. Really is rather nice. There are so many little squares around Luxembourg, and some are picturesque like this one with flags, and others surrounded by cafes. And this one's got some cafes as well and shops, but it's really rather nice here. And the weather's holding out as well, which is nice. There is a little forecast of rain for later. I'm hoping the forecast is wrong. But let's walk up into the main square here and see what else we can discover as I walk around Luxembourg City. And this is the Place Guillaume, one of the main market squares here in Luxembourg. There's a cool water feature behind me as well. I'm going to walk through it and get wet. All the silly things to do. But there's a great statue here of Guillaume II, William II. He was King of the Netherlands and Grand Duke of Luxembourg and Duke of Limburg. He was born on the 6th of December 1792 and died on the 17th of March 1849. And it's quite a magnificent statue. It's quite a beautiful square as well. Looking up at that statue, looking across the square. Really rather nice here. Visited this square last time I was in Luxembourg, but it was right at the end of my my visit, so I didn't have too much time to spend here. I also remember they were digging it up as well. There's still some roadworks behind me, so get a fine view of the cathedral from here as well. Yeah, it's nice, it's nice, it's nice. Well, let's continue my little walk through the city. Just leaving the square and hear the cathedral bells chiming, which I think is the national anthem of Luxembourg, Ons Himekt. It was written by Jean-Antoine Zinnen. There's a little plaque up on the wall, which is to his memory. What a nice little passageway this is as well. Passageway de la Hotel de la Ville. Nice. Nice little shops. But it connects one square, Place Guillaume, with another which is just up here. But it's not the square that I'm come to visit. It's the plaque on the wall at the far end. Because this one tells a very interesting story. This is another delightful little square. Nice little water feature behind me, and a huge monument as well. I've come to look at the plaque on the wall. It's a commemorative plaque which remembers an event on the 20th of August 1969, the first anniversary of the invasion of Czechoslovakia by Warsaw Pact troops. And this square is dedicated to the memory of a man called Jan Palach. He died on the 19th of January 1969. And he was a young Czech student. And he set himself alight to protest the outrage to his homeland. I'll try and put a bit more information up on the screen about this, because it seems a pretty lost for words. It's quite a commitment to set yourself on fire in order to protest. But that's what Jan Palach did. Unbelievable. People do to protest and gain recognition for something, a cause that they believe in. But it's nice that there is a plaque there which commemorates this event, tragic though it is. But let's keep walking and see what else we find here in the city. I'm enjoying walking around, and the sun has come out. That is brilliant. Forecast today was very overcast with the possibility of showers. That's nice. The sun has come out. But I came here on my last visit, and there's a little, some sort of oriel window type installation. It's got the engraving on the side, the motto of Luxembourg, Vive 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 Vas mir Sin. I think that's how you say it. I'm not really good at speaking Luxembourgish. But it translates as we want to stay as we are. Maybe that reflects the status of Luxembourg as a Grand Duchy. The national anthem, of course, Ons Heimat, translates as our homeland. The words to that were written in 1859 by Michael Lentz. And the music, 1864, by Jean-Antoine Zinnen. But just up here is this lovely little archway which goes through into a passageway. So I'm going to walk through here and see where this goes. This is the old, I think it's the old fish market here. Passage du Palais. Passage to the palace. Very nice stonework. And an old-fashioned style light. Looks like some sort of crown upside down. Really interesting. I walk up these steps, see where this goes. I do like finding places like this. There are no tourists here either. So either they don't know about it, or they haven't visited yet. But it's quite pleasant. Looks like it's a former restaurant area up here. Again, another light shade. Imagine what this might have been like a few hundred years ago. Perhaps when it was a market. Absolutely lovely. Another group of tourists. Spoke too soon. This is rather nice through here. Walk out the other side. Back into the sunshine again. And into another little square. How delightful. Oh, that was nice. I do like things like that. But now I'll explore a little further. Try and find the towers. See if we can find some old fortifications as well. I've stopped off at this lovely little cafe. Stopped for a coffee latte and a slice of cake. Now the Germans call this cake Schwarzwälder Kirschtorte, but I've always grown up knowing it as Black Forest Gâteau. It is my favourite and I absolutely, it looks wonderful. Black cherries, chocolate sponge, cream, and it's packed full of calories. Let's have a try. Oh, that is absolutely delicious. And it tastes even better because it's been sponsored as well. So I want to take this opportunity to thank a few people who have recently gone on to the Buy Me a Coffee link, which you'll find in the description, and purchased a coffee or several coffees for me, and I'm very grateful. I enjoyed a nice dinner yesterday. I had a national dish of Luxembourg, a dish called Udemat Gardibunen, which is a smoked savoury dish of smoked pork collar, broad beans in a sauce with potatoes. It was really rather nice. I did enjoy that. Rather expensive, but then eating in restaurants in Luxembourg is quite expensive. And this coffee and this rather nice slice of cake is very welcome as well. So thank you to Patrick, to Adam Stanmore, to Clive Marchant, to Paul Burns, to Jocelyn and Robert Arnfield, all of whom have gone onto the Buy Me a Coffee link and purchased a coffee, which have allowed me to enjoy a really nice meal last night and this delicious slice of cake and coffee today. It really is great travelling with the support of others, and it's nice to stop for a coffee wherever I am travelling. It just makes the day so much better. But I'm going to enjoy my my cake and my coffee, and we'll see what else we can find here in Luxembourg. This is one of the back streets which leads down from the Palais de Justice. Leads down to one of the former entrance gates into the city. But as I walk down here, it's this fine building with a ghost sign. I do like seeing ghost signs. J.B. Schult, painter, decorator. I think that's the translation. Very difficult to read, but nice to see a ghost sign. But this is the tunnel which goes under the building above. Goes through the old fortifications. This one's really rather impressive. I think at one point there might have been a gate or a door here. Just looking up and seeing the bracket on the wall. Doesn't look like a bracket from a gate or a large door. It might have been in time, and I think there might have been something in that groove as well. Looking at the brickwork, can't work out what might have been there. I don't think it was a portcullis, because unless they built it with one in mind, and then architecturally they sort of changed their mind. But it's quite nice down here, the old cobbled streets. There's no cars down here, which is nice. So many back streets in Luxembourg you can drive a car down, and a van, and a minibus, and everything else. They seem to be driving down these back streets, and they're quite unsuitable. But taking a look up, you can see the walls, really impressive, and they're so well preserved as well. And the three towers, see the square tower in the middle, and it's flanked by two circular towers, all part of the larger fortification system, which include extensive walls, towers and gates, which surrounded the old city of Luxembourg. Now the square central tower dates from around the time of the second fortification ring, around about the year 1200, and the flanking towers, they're a little later, added in the 14th century. But many sections of defensive wall were dismantled in the 19th century. Again, walking to this gatehouse underneath, you can see the slot where a portcullis might have been. But looking up, say these gates would have changed a lot since they were originally built. And from the front you can look up and you can see the two rounded towers. Really impressive gatehouse, and it's in such good condition. So many gatehouses around Europe are ruinous, but here they seem to have renovated them, which is nice. A little walkway here. I can turn the camera around and I can see into the valley, the Alzette Valley, where I was yesterday. Really lovely. But just a bit further round, there's some more fortifications. So let's go and take a look at those. I'm sure we're going to discover something quite special here, because Luxembourg has thrown up a few surprises for me in the past, and also yesterday as well. So I'm pretty sure there's something else here to be discovered. There is a section of wall with some flags on, so maybe there's something significant up there. But let's go and find out. I've actually walked down to the Casemates. These are the old fortifications which are built, and tunnels which are built into the ground here. I hadn't planned on visiting these on this occasion, and I'm not going to. What I want to visit are the towers behind me. I think it's the Tower of Jacob. There are some extensive walls and fortifications over there, and that's where I need to be. Well, I was hoping there'd be a way down from here. There probably is, but just not from where I am at the moment. But there is a little bridge down there over the river. That's where I want to get to. So hopefully, if I walk down here, I might just find a way down. If not, I've got to go the long way. So let's make my way down to the bridge, and I'll catch up with you down there. It's taken me half an hour just to walk down into the valley. See the casemates behind me, and down here over the river. I can look across and see the church of Saint Jean de Grande. Absolutely beautiful down here. I walked down here 4 years ago, and I'm glad I took the long route down so that I can enjoy the walk again. But I got some steps, I think, to in order to get up to the other side. Hopefully not as many as yesterday, but I can see the steps in the distance. They don't look too bad. They don't look too bad. But next time I come back to Luxembourg, I'm going to make sure I've got several days, because I'm sure there's a walk around the walls looking at some of the historic sites. There's certainly some information plaques up with arrows and things indicating there might be a direction of a walk. But I'm going to head up these steps and hopefully they will lead me up to the other side and the Tower of Jacob and the impressive fortifications. This is what I wanted to see on my previous visit to Luxembourg. But I just didn't have time. If I remember rightly, I had to get back to England in order to quarantine. I managed to get 3 weeks off work, but I had to spend 14 days upon my arrival in the UK in quarantine because of the coronavirus regulations, which wasn't good. I'd love to spend the whole 3 weeks here, but maybe on another occasion. But this should take me up, hopefully, to the top. And I can see the towers up ahead and the fortifications. Gosh, glad I had that Black Forest Gatto earlier. I needed those calories in order to make the climb up the steps. But let's take a walk up here and take a look. The first mention of the tower, or Jacob's Gate, dates back to 1426, 1427. However, it's estimated it was built during the second half of the 14th century. It was intended as the main entrance gate into the city from the east. But from the end of the 16th century, this massive square gatehouse lost its importance in favour of the Trier Gate, which is located below. The tower burnt down in 1443 during the capture of the city by the Burgundians, and in 1684 it was damaged by shelling from French troops, but it's in remarkably good condition today. Just looking up at the tower, see the windows and a little box on the side. It might have been the privy. Had to go somewhere, didn't they? But it really is nice to see it's preserved. But just up here is the main fortifications, the main walls and other towers. So let's go and take a look up here. As I walk past the tower, I can look back. You can see the doorway, which will lead out onto the walls. The walls have been lost through history, but they've rebuilt it in a modern style, in keeping with the old style of walls. Brickwork, really rather nice. This is all part of the Vauban walls, defensive walls of Luxembourg, designed by Sébastien Le Prestre. And they're really rather nice. You can see the towers have been renovated over time, which is nice to see. This is the remains of the Caponnier, the defensive structure which would have gone outside of the walls to attack the enemy from the outside, and still remaining within the safety of the fortifications. I'm going to head up these steps. Oh, this is incredible. Just looking at the... Oh, I do love walking up old steps. I think I've saved the best to last. One thing I do enjoy is climbing church towers and climbing up castles and any old structure like this. And I found a few on the course of my travels, especially in Marseille and the castle there. And of course climbing the tower of Minster. Absolutely brilliant to climb these stairs. But as I walk up the top of the steps, there's a little room just at the top. Might have been a guardhouse for the soldiers, the garrison who manned at the top of this fort. But, oh dear, take the weight off my feet. Oh, it's nice to sit down. I've walked for miles today. Ah, dear, dear, dear. And what a fantastic day I have had. I had no plans for today at all. I had nothing planned other than just to walk through the city of Luxembourg and see what I could discover. I had an idea I was going to come here, but I wasn't sure, all depending on the weather. But the weather has held out, which is nice. But I've reached the end of the road. Tomorrow I have to go back to London and then back to work. Wish I didn't. I wish I could do this full time and create content and bring wonderful places around the world to you. But maybe one day I will. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow my journey. And I also have other videos from my previous visit here in Luxembourg. My very first travel vlogs were from Luxembourg. It's nice to sort of walk through some of the areas where I walked through last time and just see what's changed. And there have been quite a few changes, and it's nice to see them, as you'll see from the videos which I took at the end of my trip from the Place Guillaume. Very different to what it is today, but they're still renovating parts of the Alzette Valley, and I think in a year or so's time I think it'll be absolutely beautiful down there, and certainly warrants many more trips to this fantastic city. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow my journey. There's plenty more to come, and there's another series coming very shortly. But where from? Well, you'll find out very shortly. Thank you so much for watching.